All right, we got Chris Van Vliet in the studio today. Thanks so much for coming, man.
Jack, thank you for having me.
This is a blast for me. This is the 600th episode of this podcast.
Wow.
You know, I've been doing it a long time, and you're someone, like, I don't really, like, try to, like, mimic or style myself after most people. I wouldn't say I necessarily do that with you either, but you're someone that I have been in tune with for years.
Wow.
So I'm glad that we get to sit down and do this.
Dude, congrats on 600 episodes.
Absolutely. I mean,
that's incredible.
You just don't quit, right?
And that's the biggest thing, right? I think the biggest tip to being successful in podcasting is number one, you start.
Yeah.
And then number two, you just don't stop.
Yeah.
And then I guess that could be applied to a whole bunch of things. But so many people have this idea of a podcast they want to start and then just talk about it for years and years and years and then never do anything about it.
Yeah.
So congrats to you on starting and not stopping.
Absolutely. I mean, that's literally what we were just talking about before we came on, is that everybody has a show. You know, like you say, like, oh, I have a podcast. I'm like, oh, so you live in your mom's basement, right? It's not like some people have legitimate shows. Some people have podcasts. And I feel like you tend to figure out which ones stick. It's the people that don't quit.
Like pod fade's a real thing. We've heard that term thrown around in the industry a lot, but like that's a real thing that people start a podcast thinking it's going to be fun. Oh, me and my friends are so funny. We'll just hit record. And then you don't realize how much work goes into it, right? Like the booking the guests, the producing it, promoting it, editing it, uploading, all of that. And I think the average podcast fades after 7 episodes.
Really?
Yeah.
That quickly?
And think about it, right? Like they always say, oh, there's 2 million podcasts right now. How many of them are active?
I know.
And I bet it's like half.
And we're both part of the Blue Wire Network too. Thanks to Kevin Jones for hooking me up there. How many 200 plus shows, are they all consistent? Can we honestly say that?
I think they have to be. I think they're at 300 plus shows now, aren't they?
They could have 1,000 shows for all we know.
Yeah.
They're constantly growing, constantly looking for new shows. That's my job now as a recruitment coordinator, is bringing on new shows.
That.
Oh my God, it's going to be this is the network to be associated with. They're on the up and up.
I mean, when you just look at the podcast studio, the Blue Wire Studios inside the Wynn Las Vegas, you're like, I get to, as a podcaster on the Blue Wire Network, get to record in there. That's it. I don't need to hear anything else.
Nope.
It's such a beautiful space.
It's a game changer too.
Oh, I'm so grateful to be part of Blue Wire. I've been with them since 2019. And it's really changed the whole perception of my podcast being with them.
Oh my God. Who was the first guest you had in that studio? Because I can imagine the first time you checked out the studio, you're like, holy shit. Like this is the real deal. And then your first guest walks and they're like, oh.
I remember Kevin Jones sending me like a video that he shot on his iPhone. And he's like, it's pretty much finished. I'm like, that? Oh, this is not what I was expecting at all. So I flew in there and I did like 5 episodes in like 2 days. So Rob Van Dam was the first real big one I did in there.
That's really cool.
Love that guy.
He seems like a really chill dude.
Yeah. I mean, that's what he's known for, right? Mm-hmm. He's the chillest dude.
I think I'm going to use the studio we were talking about, I think next weekend, just because you got to like book it weeks in advance. And I think I'm going to have basically everyone who's already been there before. They're like, oh, Blue Wire, definitely, I'll shoot in there. It's like Bradley and Travis Chappelle and, you know, some of those guys.
I'm going to see Travis right after this.
There you go. Yeah. See? Because he's right in the area.
Yeah,
so
he's one of my good friends.
He's an awesome interviewer.
He's crushing it. I mean, you want to talk about someone who started and didn't stop. He's at like episode 800 and something.
Exactly.
And I always say, like, I think there's a lot of people that get really trepidatious about getting into podcasting because they see people like the giants in the industry, like Joe Rogan, who's approaching 2,000 episodes. And they go, oh man, how could I get to 2,000 if, I'm just starting out now? It's like, well, you just got to start.
It's like anything else in life, really. I mean, if you're looking at it from a monetization standpoint right off the bat, yeah, you're going to fizzle out because the passion isn't there. Like I started mine when I was 17 years old, I did this out of my parents' basement,
Dude, that's great.
I always tell people I had my iPad that I used like the voice memo app to record.
Yes.
And then this was before video, so I would use my phone to call the guest, and that's how I would record because I had no equipment,
Wow.
like just starting out. That's how I did it for about a year.
Wow. Who really inspired you when you were starting out?
I don't know. I like you because I listened to the interview you did with Travis talking about like at 4 years old, you were like basically calling Blue Jays games from your house, right? That's what I did. When I was 5 years old, I grew up in Jersey. So I grew up a huge Yankee fan. And that's what I did. So being a play-by-play voice for a team was like my first true passion when I was a young kid. And then it kind of snowballed to where 2017, 2018, I would say it's right before the whole podcast wave came, maybe like a year before, where I was like, oh, that would be a great resume builder.
Yeah.
And I just kept at it. I remember the first episode being like, I'm going to do this hopefully till the day I die. Like, there's no sense in quitting, because like this was my goal, to be like a talk show host.
Yeah.
And this is the golden opportunity to do it.
And all you got to do is just keep putting in the time. Like, the biggest key in podcasting or just content creation in general is just be consistent. Like, constantly show up, and then your audience will also show up.
I mean, you probably look back at the first 50 interviews you ever did and look back like, these suck. Like, these are brutal. Like, I look back at the first 100 episodes I did. I'm like, man, I didn't know how to edit. I didn't know how to talk. I was just monotone, just like, hey guys, welcome back to the show.
Yeah.
But like, in my head, I'm like all hyped up.
Yeah, I think that there's like, it's an interesting thing, right? Because you're your own worst critic. But if you're not looking back on your older stuff, even from like 6 months ago, and kind of cringing a little bit, you're not heading in the right direction.
No.
Like, if your best piece of content is from 5 years ago or 3 years ago, like, you're not heading in the right direction. Or if you're not looking at an older interview and going, could have phrased that question a little bit better, then you're not growing. And I think that that's the best thing about this, is you can continue to always grow. Obviously, 2020 was like a big boom for podcasting.
I would say that's where I'm here right now talking to you because of 2020. Everybody was in their homes doing nothing, and nobody had an excuse not to talk to me unless you really didn't want to.
Yes.
And that's where I was able to get like some like premier names on my show to really get people thinking like, oh, he's got something with this show.
Especially early on, like March, April of 2020, if you reached out to somebody and they had any excuse, it was like, you are a liar. Like, I know exactly what you're doing. You're sitting at home like the rest of the world.
But with you already have your platform at that point. You have the reputation. With me, it's like, okay, I'm just a kid. Like, I understand like if they don't want to invest the time, but
I put out a tweet pretty early, like March of 2020, like a week into all the lockdowns.
Yeah.
And I said, I've never done a virtual interview before in my life. Can you guys help me? And I had a bunch of people throwing out different suggestions. I ended up landing on Zoom because that just kind of became the common ground for everybody. But I had no idea how to do this. And because I was flying everywhere and doing every interview I could in person, because I just, like we're doing right now. And I'm so appreciative that we're sitting down and doing this in person, because nothing beats being able to shake someone's hand, give them a hug, look them in the eyes, not have a half-second delay, because when you're looking at someone on a Zoom meeting, you're looking at a 2-dimensional version of a 3-dimensional person. It's not quite the same.
No.
Like, I put out this tweet and I said, if you did an interview with someone over Zoom, did you really meet them? And it was really interesting seeing people's reaction to that. A lot of people said, yeah, of course you did, because you got to talk to them. And then a lot of people said, no, because the first thing you do when you meet that person in real life after that is you say, it's so good to meet you in person.
Yep.
And I'm in that camp.
And you build relationships off of that. I can honestly say doing in-person interviews, like, oh, you stay in touch with almost everybody. Yeah. As opposed to like Zoom interviews, like you said, you don't really meet them. It's kind of like, it's a chore for them almost to be like, I got to do this quick call. I heard a celebrity
refer to this as like the new jury duty. It's like, I guess I got to do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. People promoting movies in 2020, they're like, I guess we're off. It's like, oh no, there's this thing called Zoom now. You're going to have to do video calls. And it's like, oh.
Yeah. But it's a totally different world now.
Oh my God. I think it's both, like you said, good and bad. You can do it from, like, if you told me like, okay, because I woke up this morning to your email being like, flight got delayed, might have to like change the time or whatever. Like, if we weren't able to do this today, it's like, okay, next time you're in town, as opposed to like, I could have easily been like, here's a Zoom link if you want to do it that way, but it's not the same.
Not the same. So I'm glad that we're here doing this in person.
Absolutely. And again, like, someone I've watched for years upon end. I'm not going to do a Zoom interview with you. I was going to meet you in person, right? And congrats, you're going to be a dad in a few months.
Yeah, it's coming up so quickly.
That's so crazy.
May. Yeah.
Wow. Husband, father, you're an old man now.
It's a heck of a 2022. I mean, and these are like I'm just getting used to wearing this on my finger here. Yeah, it's been great.
Oh, man. And did you guys have do you know if it's a boy or a girl?
It's a girl.
Did you have a gender reveal?
We did.
What did you guys do for that?
Well, we were like, we don't want to like have fireworks and like set California on fire. So we just did like the thing where like the smoke goes up, like the smoke cannon.
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect.
Like pink smoke. Boom.
That's perfect. And that's probably got to be like the most elated feeling in the world when that comes up. Because either way, you're going to be ecstatic, but it's like.
Yeah. So Rachel, my wife, was like, I'm confident this is a girl. And I'm like, what makes you say that? And she's like, I don't know. Like everybody who says they've had a girl before, all their symptoms have been like mine. So she was really feeling nauseous at first. And I'm like, look, I'm happy. It doesn't matter to me. You know, I don't care, boy or girl. And she was right. Like when that pink smoke went off, she was just like, yeah, like kind of like, I knew it. Yeah.
And everybody says girls are easier.
Do they?
That's what a lot of people say.
I don't know.
That's what they say.
We'll have this interview again in a few years, and I will tell you if that's true or not. I don't know.
Oh my God. One of these days, we're going to have to go to Blue Wire and do what you did with TJP, or, you know, and have his baby just in the crate.
He had like this portable crib that he brought with him. It was the greatest thing.
I can't imagine.
I can't either.
Because worst case scenario, that baby's going to be like off the wall, just screaming the entire time, and you really don't know what's going to happen. You guys got really lucky.
It somehow worked. He was like, oh no, James is a good baby. We'll be fine. It'll work out.
And it did.
And it did.
He was right.
Yeah.
There was one, because talking about gender reveals, did you guys put a lot into it? Because you're a big pro wrestling guy. I came across this.
I know.
You know how crazy that is?
I know. She joked about this, right? Because before this video,
a couple of family members.
That's actually that's Sin Bodhi, he lives here in Vegas. You should probably have him on the show.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
But I've known Sin. I watched him when I was like 16 when he was wrestling in Toronto.
Yeah.
Before this video really went viral, EC3, who's a buddy of mine, got paid to be in a gender reveal wrestling match. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. And, you know, one guy wore the blue trunks, the other wore the pink trunks, and they had a match. What's funny watching those videos is you can tell the audience clearly have never watched a wrestling match before.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of giggling at the punches and kind of like not sure if they should laugh or cheer when people are getting body slammed. But then at the end, 1, 2, 3, oh, it's a boy.
Only the ref knows the finish. Only the two wrestlers know it's like, who's booking this,
That's
you know?
so funny.
You get to be Vince for a day. Like, it's really, like, to me, like, when I saw that, I'm like, I'm doing that. Like, nobody stopped. Hopefully I marry someone, or like all my buddies there are wrestling fans, or else it would be weird, but.
My wife is the best. Rachel is the best. And she was like, we should do it. I'm like, get out of here. That's so silly. She was like, no, I'm serious. We should do the gender reveal wrestling match. And I said, we can't do that. Also, like, so many people have already done it. We can't do that. Let's just do something easy and safe and quick. We're not hiring wrestlers. She's like, but do you think we could? I'm like, no, we're not doing it. So I was talking her out of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're the wrestling guy too. So you're a good husband. You knew she'd regret it in the long run.
I don't know. I just didn't want that to be the thing, you know?
Just imagine, though, your daughter grows up to be a pro wrestler. You'd be like, this was your gender reveal party.
But maybe she grows up to be a pro wrestler in spite of all of that, you know? I don't know.
What do you think of the whole Stephanie stepping down after Vince came back?
It's all like rumors right now.
Because like, obviously, like the wrestling Twitterverse is just like, oh, he's changing everything again. Like, he's so selfish.
Yeah.
It's like, it's probably a lot simpler than that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more that goes on behind the scenes than any of us could ever be aware of. But it's so interesting, especially in wrestling Twitter, how when something catches on, that's it. It spreads like wildfire. Yeah. So as we sit here right now, there's all these rumors. Nobody knows what's actually happening. Mm-hmm. But there had been like talk and like speculation for years. I remember interviewing Ryback like 3 years ago, and he's like, I bet WWE is going to sell to like a major like media company. I said, no way. Why would they do that? He's like, I'm telling you, they're going to sell to like Fox, Disney, something like that. So like this has been kind of out there in the zeitgeist for a while. Mm-hmm. Very curious what happens here. And then how does the product look different or the same? Because if it goes back to being a privately owned company, which is one of the rumors right now, things could really shift.
That's going to really change things.
It could.
Like, just think about it from a creative standpoint, how different it would be.
It could, but then you still have to, like, if you're on a television network, you still have to adhere to their standards. I don't know. If it becomes a privately owned company again, that PG rating could go away pretty quickly, and it could go back to like Attitude Era, but I just can't see that happening. I just really think that like they've figured out what's working for them. But I guess it would just come down to whoever the new owner is.
That's going to be nuts. Like, to me, Stephanie was like forced into that position 8 months ago. Yeah. Like she like took a leave of absence. I don't think she wanted to be a part of it. And then the whole like allegations came up with Vince, and it's like, okay, she had to step up. Paul had to step up.
Yeah.
Nick Khan had to step up. Where it's like now it's like everybody's kind of like, Vince is going to do whatever the hell he wants anyways.
I don't know. And I think it's such an interesting time to be a wrestling fan because it's almost like we know too much of what's going on that like things are changing all the time, like minute by minute, hour by hour, certainly day by day, that I feel like Twitter fans like feel like they have their finger on the pulse, but do they really? I don't know.
It's like literally we know way too much, but at the same time know absolutely nothing at all.
And it's all hearsay and innuendo and like, these just ideas. I don't know what's actually happening. So I'd rather just sit back and go, let's see what happens, and then we can figure it out from there.
It's going to be interesting. Have you ever tried to, get in with WWE as a reporter? Like you're the perfect guy for like that backstage, like.
I don't know. No, it's never happened.
Todd Phillips, because you did AEW for a little bit.
Yeah. I had a meeting. I don't know if I've ever talked about this. I had a meeting with WWE right before I appeared on AEW. And they were basically like, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I really like the Sam Roberts position.
Exactly, yeah.
Like where he gets to like kind of be on the pre-show and like hype up the show, give his take on it. Like, I love that idea. And they were like, well, what about being like a backstage interviewer? What about maybe being a ring announcer? Would you ever consider play-by-play? And I'm like, yeah, I'd be open to like everything. And then I appeared on AEW, and that was kind of the end of those conversations.
What was it then? Like just lack of communication, and then AEW just...
No, I just think it was... I didn't want a full-time gig.
Yeah.
At at that point. Like when I met with WWE, I was working in Miami. I was hosting a show called Deco Drive on the Fox station there, like traveling the world, interviewing the biggest celebrities on the planet. So I wanted that like Sam Roberts thing where you show up for the pay-per-views, talk about do some interviews, do the pre-show, and that was it. But yeah, it didn't, maybe that'll end up happening one day. I would certainly never close the door on working for any major wrestling company.
Especially like when you're a kid getting into this, like you always being a pro wrestling guy, like to say like I worked for WWE, like in the long run, like childhood dream.
And so many of my friends work there. It'd be really cool to kind of be in there. So who knows? I'll never say never.
It's funny, like when you grow up and you actually like get into it and you do the things that you wanted to do, like you've been able to do the things that you've wanted to do, but also on your time, as opposed to like clocking in and clocking out for someone 50 to 60 hours a week, right?
Yeah, and that's changed so much because it used to be, especially when I graduated from college in 2005, it was like you get an internship that hopefully leads to a job in a small market on TV that leads to a job in a bigger market and kind of so on from there. Doesn't really exist like that anymore. It's like you go out and you can create the content for yourself, and those gatekeepers are gone now.
Yeah. I mean, and it also, you got to build the audience, right? Because we talk about the billions of podcasts out there, even the ones that are in like their 500, 600, 700th episode still might not have the audience, like there's very few shows that actually get there to where they can do it as a quote unquote job.
It's a really interesting thing with podcasting too, where like your audience is very loyal. But you have to build that audience up over time.
Yeah.
Just because you have a big following on, say, Instagram or TikTok or YouTube doesn't mean that your audience is going to pay, give you the time to listen to an hour or 2 hours of your episodes. It's one thing to watch a 14-second TikTok video. It's another completely different thing to say, listen to my interview with this person for 60 minutes.
Mm-hmm. It's a hard thing to do too, man.
Big time.
Like the funny story that you told on Travis's show was you lying about, and it was like your first big break in broadcasting. And you're just like, oh yeah, I'm in Vancouver. Like let's set up the interview. But it was like what, like a 5-hour flight away, like white lies like that in order to like get ahead.
That was my whole career. Like, because even before that, I wasn't getting a shot to even get an internship anywhere. And I'd reached out to all these TV stations, all these radio stations. And this one small station about an hour from my hometown, I found the general manager's email by like looking everywhere on the internet. Found his email, sent him an email and said, I'm going to be in town next week. It's spring break. I'd love to come in and talk to you about an internship. Well, we don't usually do this, but sure, come on by. Total lie. I hadn't been to that town in like 10, 15 years. And kind of talked my way, number one, into that interview, and number two, into him giving me an internship. The internship, within 2 weeks, I was on TV. And it was like, I can't believe this worked. And then, fast forward a year and a half later, there was a job that I thought that I really had a good chance to get, but it was in Vancouver on MTV2 Canada. And they were not going to fly me in for an interview. I submitted all my stuff and didn't hear anything. So I called the TV station and I asked for the person who was doing the hiring because her name happened to be on the application.
Yeah.
And I said, "Hi, is so-and-so there?" And they said, "One moment, please." I'm like, "Oh my God, this is going to work." I got her voicemail. I left her a voicemail basically saying like, "Hey, I applied, would love for you to look at it." She emailed me back and her direct phone line was in her email signature. And I went, "I will be calling you in a few days." And I did. I called her. She answered. And I said, "Hey, I'm actually going to be in Vancouver next week. I would love to just come by and talk to you about the job." And she's like, "Well, I guess, all right, if you're going to be here, sure. Yeah, come on by. That'd be great." And I hung up the phone and I remember I was in my bedroom and I yelled down, I'm like, "Dad, I need a flight to Vancouver." And my dad works for, now retired, but worked for an airline.
Right.
And he was like, "Yeah, I think we could figure something out. Maybe I could even do a business trip and like you could come with me." And it all just worked out. But it's like, it's right place, right time, which we hear all the time.
Yeah.
But it's also about putting yourself
in the right place.
In the right place and creating the right time, which I think a lot of people don't do.
A lot of people will look at you or look at me and be like, "Man, it must be nice to be, connected to that person." It's like, be aware, like their email's right there.
Yeah.
Reach out, and it's up to them to reach back out. But like you can, that's just one example in like the podcast space, right? But like getting a job, like you said, like you put yourself in the right place because you had the motive to do it.
There's also a lot of people that look at super successful people like Steven Spielberg or Oprah and go, "Wow, must be nice." It's like, what do you mean? Must be nice to work really hard and like chase after your dreams? Like people will look at someone like Tom Brady and try to like break him down. It's like, it's all about like working your ass off.
Yeah.
And so many people, unfortunately, want to look for an excuse as to why it can't happen for them, when the excuse for why it can happen is also right there as well.
Mm-hmm. Like some people just don't want to deal because there's heartbreak and everything, right? There's heartbreak in this. Sometimes you have like a big guest lined up and they can't make it. Like, have you ever had an interview with someone scheduled that it was like at the last moment, like, "Oh, I couldn't do it." And it just was like, "Oh,
of course,
gut wrenching."
Happens all the time. I've even had it where like you go to a celebrity junket, like a movie junket.
Oh, those gotta hurt.
And you're prepared to interview a huge name. And then like, this actually happened not long ago. And they were like, "Oh, that person's actually sick. So you're getting everybody else, but you're not getting that really big person." And you're like, okay.
Yeah. Like what are you going to do?
Yeah. Am I going to complain about it? Like, it's not going to help anything. So just move on.
Like, it is what it is like the cheesiest, phrase in the world, but it's so true. It's like, what are you going to do about it? Like complaining ain't going to change anything.
Yeah. And like, even I'm so guilty of complaining about complainers all the time, which also helps nothing. But yeah, complaining doesn't get you anywhere. And all it does is actually bring the people around you down.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever had an interview that never took place, so that it was like canceled at the last minute? You were bummed about it and then you just never did it, never got around to it?
Yes. Or I had one that it was not long ago, maybe within the last 6 months, and we were lining it up. They reached out to say, "Do you want to like do this over Zoom?" And I said, "Well, actually, I know they're based in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
We've got this great studio in Las Vegas. Could we do it there?" "Sure. Give us some dates that work." So we lined up some dates. "How about this one? Sounds great." And then it just ended up falling through. And I followed up like within the next few weeks after that and said, "Hey, can we get another date on the calendar? Like, really want to make this happen. Like, really want to make this happen." And they said, "I'm sorry, their schedule has changed. They're not available anymore." Like, they're not available anymore. Okay. And it's just like, what else are you going to say?
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay. Yeah. Have you had that happen?
Oh, multiple times.
Yeah.
And like, whether it's like health issues or just flat out, "Oh, they're not going to be in town anymore." And then you don't hear from them ever again. And it's just like, oh, that would have been like dream interviews, right? And it's like, hopefully it'll come back around one day. If anything, I have the story that I almost did and that, I don't know.
How did you get Magic Johnson?
Friend of a friend, like building relationships, right? The new currency. Knew a publicist for about 4 or 5 years that just casually stayed in touch with. Like, "You need anything from me? If I can be of service to you, let me know."
Yeah.
Back and forth, vice versa. And he was doing I think it was the 75th NBA anniversary. And he was just doing kind of like junket interviews, but over Zoom with people.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, we can get you like 15, 20 minutes if you want." I'm like,
wow.
Yeah, it's Magic Johnson. Like, I'm not a huge NBA guy. Like, it was like,
he's a legend.
It was like baseball, pro wrestling, MMA for me. Right. But like, I'm like,
same.
Everybody knows who Magic
just
Johnson
become best
is.
friends.
Exactly, man. I love it.
Woo.
And then Yeah, Magic Johnson was like the nicest guy in the world too. Like
Yeah.
there's some people you interview and like it's like, oh, they're wired differently than me.
Yeah.
It's like we're gonna make this work. He was just a down to earth, great dude who's just happened to be a 5-time NBA champ, great executive,
Yeah.
just well polished individual.
I met
Like,
him
so
about
nice.
a month ago. I've been doing some stuff with Byron Scott's podcast.
Oh.
So Byron and Magic,
Yeah.
obviously friends for years and years and years. And it's so funny. Like Magic came in, took photos with everybody, signed every jersey, every ball, every hat, everything. He gets it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the type of guy where you're that big, you're that famous that everywhere you go, you're going to be recognized. Have you had the situation where the guest is so low energy, so uninterested, and then you hit record and they're like, "Oh, Jack, so good to see you, man. Great to be here. Love
worst.
having you on." Yeah.
The worst.
Have you had that?
Oh, like 50 times. It's like they go through the agenda of like what I need to promote. This is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Or like their managers in the room too, and they're just
Sure,
like
sure.
whispering. They're just like, it's like, yeah, David would like this. It's like, oh, okay, so I guess I'm talking to you. And then as soon as the red light goes on, I'm talking to him. Which you roll with the punches.
Sure.
It's part of it. That's what I love about this is that you never know who you're going to talk to, and you never know what people are going to be like.
Yeah.
They say don't meet your heroes. Why? Because if you meet your heroes and they turn out to not be as cool as you thought they were, it's like, oh, you just got slapped in the face with reality. I'd rather know more about people than to be like, oh, he's cool. I never want to meet him though.
There's a lot of pressure, I feel like, on like a really like a super A-list person to be on all the time if they're not always that person.
Yeah.
Like I've had such incredible interactions with The Rock, and I always say, like, if The Rock's your hero, you should definitely meet Dwayne Johnson because he's the best. But I wonder when somebody's not like that naturally charismatic, if they don't turn it on and you just have a bad 3-second interaction with a huge star, that's going to be your perception of that person for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to tell all your friends and they're going to tell their friends. Yeah.
And there's people that will not be on for like one interview, but they're actually a decent human being.
Sure.
But it's like they were just not on that day.
It's a big ask, right? It's a big ask for someone to be like at their very best all the time. And that's why my hat's off to people that are able to do that.
Mm-hmm. Like Dwayne's one that's like, how is that guy on all the time?
It's just who he is. But I also think for him, it comes from a true place of gratitude.
Oh my God.
Like he tells the story of $7 production all the time, basically like evicted from his house, $7 in his pocket right after he got cut from the CFL. Like his dream just taken away. Now he has $7 in his pocket and nowhere to live. Like I think for him that he always looks back and like wherever he is, whatever he's doing, he looks back to that version of himself and goes, how could I not be happy? How could I not be grateful to be where I am right now because I used to be there?
Mm-hmm. And that's a hard place to go back to mentally, I feel like.
We all have that, right?
Yeah.
We like there's that phrase of like the worst thing that's ever happened to you is the worst thing that's ever happened to you. Mm-hmm. And that's your spectrum of like the good and bad things. So we all have that, whether it's being evicted from a place where you were living like him or something else in your own life. It's a bad thing if that's your lowest point.
It's so difficult too. I mean, it's like you don't even want to go back there, but it's like sometimes you need that extra boost where it's like, I have to be grateful for this situation because this is where I came from. Or if like you're trying to like motivate yourself to do something else and it's like you got to remind yourself of where you're coming, what your foundation is.
Yeah. Well,
It
the
gets
thing
trippy.
is, you've always got what's good available all the time. Like you can always just sit there and go, man, I've got my health.
Yeah.
I've got my family, whatever it happens to be. And that's why I end every podcast asking my guests, what are three things you're grateful for? Because I think that I'm hoping that people listening can go, oh my gosh, that person's so successful and they're grateful for those things. I have those things. I should be grateful.
What was the, talking about gratitude and guests not like necessarily being on all the time? Like, do you have one in particular that you remember they were just like nasty to you that day?
And I won't name names here.
No, neither will I.
But
Talking about building relationships, you don't want to burn any bridges.
And it's no fault of their own. It was actually when I worked like in TV every single day. They came to the TV station and it was very clear they didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
And I was trying to like make small talk and warm them up, and it was like really short answers, and they were like in their phone the whole time. Oh yeah. Oh, that's cool. Oh, great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then we like got them mic'd up and the red light hit and it was like, boom, the energy was there. And it was the greatest interview for those few minutes. And then as soon as the segment was over, it was right back to, yeah, okay, man. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, all right. And it was just so disappointing because this is someone who I looked up to and I still think they're supremely talented.
Yeah.
But I was just like, oh man, you couldn't have just for like 15 minutes, like at least pretended. And it's so funny because I shared this story with a buddy of mine who also works in television. And he goes, oh man, I had a similar story like that. And he told me, a very similar story. And then afterwards I said, who was it? And I went, no way. It was the same person. Yeah.
So it just like confirmed, like, okay, that's who he is.
Yeah.
My story is, and I've said his name multiple times. I can't keep saying it, but one day it's gonna be like, you keep talking about me on your show, right? But he, big musician. My family absolutely loves him. I'm not necessarily a big fan, but I was able to interview him at a music festival in Tempe, Arizona a few years ago, like right before COVID hit. And I was there as a journalist writing for a website. So for whatever reason, and I didn't get this memo, we weren't allowed to record audio.
Oh.
Everything had to be like handwritten.
Wow.
And I interviewed a few different musicians that day that let me record because they're like, whatever, I don't care. I get back there and I didn't put my phone in his face, but it was like, oh, so how, whatever I said.
Sure, yeah.
Immediately without question, like slapped my phone away and it just shattered into like a million pieces on the floor.
Oh my gosh.
And I just kind of like picked it up. I was like, whatever. I asked 2 or 3 questions. He's like, all right, this is done, whatever. Walked away, went on stage, did his thing. And I'm like, oh my God.
Wow.
Like, I don't know if he was just like.
Did he pay for your phone?
He did not. No. Which, whatever. Like.
I don't know.
I didn't even think about that, to be honest. I was just going to like, oh, wow, I get to tell this story to,
That's too bad.
My family was just like, well, did you make him angry? What did you do? He typically doesn't get like that. I'm like, I met him, like that's what he did, Yeah. But I'll hear other stories from other people like, oh, he's the nicest guy in the world. When I met him, it's like, maybe he was just off that day.
Yeah. And it's too bad that we judge people based on like the one interaction, but if that's all you have. But I've also seen like on the flip side of it, I've heard people that are like notoriously difficult. And then I'm like, that was really pleasant.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
It's fun. It's like some people just, they're in their own minds are like, they expect, I feel like when you have expectations of someone going into it and they don't reach your expectations, it's like, that one wasn't that great. But like, maybe that's just how they interact.
Well, and that's the problem, right? Like if your expectations are super high of anybody or any situation, it's often hard to meet that. And in those moments, I would just rather be appreciative of like, this person is giving me their time. Because think about like, if you remove podcasts from this, is Magic Johnson going to hang out with you for 20 minutes?
Right.
Probably not. Is Tom Cruise going to answer a bunch of my questions? Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is like, if you can bring the value of like, I have this podcast, YouTube channel, social media following, it has this kind of audience. This is the value that I bring. I'd like to trade that for your time and your expertise.
Exactly. Everybody's providing value for each other.
Because I think long gone are the days of like, I want to pick your brain or I want to take you out for lunch. And I think now it's like, well, if you want to have this conversation and we put it on your podcast, absolutely. Then everybody else can eavesdrop in on this conversation and learn from it as well.
You're building both personal brands. I think it was Brad Lee who came out with one of his videos and was just like, no, you can't pick my brain or take me out to lunch. Like, that's stupid. And you know how like off the cuff he is? It's just like you can't do that.
And I can completely understand that like someone like him is probably getting people like that all the time.
Yeah.
But I will say that I bet if someone said to Brad Lee, can I take you out to lunch and give you $5,000, $10,000, whatever his number happens to be, he'd go, yeah, absolutely you can.
Oh, absolutely. Like you're obviously serious about this.
Yeah.
As opposed to just like, oh, let me take you out to McDonald's,
Hey, well, that'd be pretty good.
I don't know about that.
I'll take a McFlurry.
Yeah. Are you eating McDonald's right now, or are you trying to get into like the best shape of your life? What, May 19th is the birthday?
That's my birthday. I haven't eaten McDonald's in a long time.
Sometimes I do it because I'm like whether I'm on the road or it's like, oh, I haven't eaten all day long. And it's like, I need something or else I'm just going to be hangry. And then after I'm done, I'm like, why did I eat that? It's like one of those, comfort foods that you immediately regret right after.
Yeah. I don't think I could do it. I now travel with meals. Like I've gotten to that level.
That's good. I just
don't
ordered
know.
my pack of nutrition solutions.
Oh,
so,
nice.
So I'm trying to get into the best shape of my life too.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So I've been very intentional about this.
Yeah.
So I turned 40 on May 19th, and I've always been in decent shape.
And if you told me you were 25, I would have believed you.
You are too kind.
I absolutely.
Where do I
believed
pay you?
Exactly.
But I've always been in like good shape, and I played a lot of sports growing up, so I've always kind of prided myself on just being relatively athletic.
Yeah.
And I was always really drawn in by the celebrities and the movie stars who would have a massive body transformation for a role. Like Chris Hemsworth, obviously, Chris Evans, naming people named Chris now. But like Kumail Nanjiani's recent transformation, Christian Bale back and forth on the scale. I've always been really impressed by that and always just fascinated by what can the human body do. So, there's been times in the past where I've, really gone hard on the weights and like bulked up a little bit. But this time I was like, I want to like do this with people who are really in the know and know exactly what I should be eating, what I should be doing in the gym, hiring people, and let's see where we can take this. So I started on it was like December 13th or something.
So is the goal to build like lean muscle?
Yeah.
In that regard, like put on muscle?
Right now I'm in the like eat lots of things.
Bulking, yeah.
Like
That's
a lot.
what my goal is to be up 20 pounds in the next 6 or 7 months.
I've already gained 12 in the last month.
That's crazy.
So you can too.
Dude, my metabolism, absurd.
Well, you're how old?
23.
Yeah, so your metabolism's still going to be, but just keep eating.
Yeah.
Like just eat more then.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and do less cardio. You'll gain weight.
That's what everyone says, like no cardio.
Yeah.
You're trying to bulk.
I do just a very little bit of cardio, but I've been eating like silly amounts. And my trainer goes, he goes, are you eating a lot? I'm like, yeah, I'm eating a lot now. He goes, but are you eating hard? I went, I think I'm eating hard. He goes, are you ever hungry throughout the day? I said, no, not anymore. He goes, okay, then you're eating hard. But I'm eating like, I don't know, 5,000 calories a day right now.
Right.
Maybe more.
Like everybody's just like, oh, 3,000 calories a day. I'm like, nah, like upwards like 4,000 or 5,000 a day and be consistent with that. Like what's the difference like eating hard, just like eating until like intervals, like every hour, every 90 minutes? Just
I'm eating a lot.
Yeah.
And like I just packed a whole bunch of meals for this trip, and I'm only here for like, I don't know, what am I here for? 28 hours?
Yeah.
And I brought a whole bunch of meals. So it's like a lot of rice, and I brought some steak, I brought some chicken, I brought some ground turkey. This is so boring for everybody to listen to, but yeah, it's just been.
That's how you build lean muscle.
I've already,
chicken.
With 10 a.m., I've already eaten twice today. And I'll leave here and eat some more.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just curious, what can I do? What can I look like when this is all done? So
yeah,
we'll find out.
My biggest thing is like when people are like, oh, that's your genetics, that's your body type, just deal with it. It's like, I feel like if you put in the effort and really dial in and talk to the right people and do the right research and apply it, like the sky's the limit.
Really, anything is possible within that space. And I think it's just, do you want to work hard enough to make that happen?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people just like come up against a limitation, and they go, I don't really want to go any further than this. Okay, that's great. But it is possible.
Yeah, it's like a slight itch for some people where like the first few days, first few weeks they're into it, it's like, oh, I feel good. And then you just go back into not feeling that great. And you're like, oh, what happened? I was working so hard. It's like a daily thing.
My clothes not fitting me right now is not a great thing. So I don't know how, like if I gain another 10 or 15 pounds.
New wardrobe.
Seriously. Yeah.
What's the biggest you've ever been? Because I've seen you work out with like EC3 or even like Karrion Kross, and it's just like those guys are huge.
They are.
Even though they'll tell you like, nah, I'm pretty lean. It's like compared to who,
Well, EC3 is stupid lean. Like, so I normally would walk around at like 180, 182. I'm at like 192, 194 right now. And the biggest I've been was 200, but like eating like a lot of pizza and chicken wings. Like it was 200 of bulking, but not very clean bulking.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel great about that. I'm looking to, 200 was the goal, but I feel like I could get over that now.
Yeah.
So I don't know, 205, 210?
And is it going to be like completely clean eating? Because I've heard you say like,
I love pizza.
6 meals a day is 42 meals in a week. If like one or two of those are bad, it's like whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think right now, as I'm bulking, this is probably so nerdy for everybody. I'm so sorry. Right now, as I'm bulking, they're mostly clean, but I will slam a pizza down. I had a bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch the other day, but for the most part, it's, you know, it's healthy carbs and it's healthy proteins and it's healthy fats for the most part.
Yeah.
But it's like for breakfast, I'm eating like 2 cups of oats with a scoop of protein and then like some peanut butter as well. It's like 1,000 calories in just that one meal.
I'm on the peanut butter and jelly kick for like the past 2 weeks. Just like you eat one, you're like, have 4 more.
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's stop boring people if you truly do think that they're boring, getting bored by this. When it comes to like interviewing people, because you're basically doing what like at least my vision right now is, you know, like I got into this to interview my heroes, man. Like, and I've gotten the opportunity to interview some, you know, and there's still bucket list names all over the place. You know, you never know who you're going to talk to.
Yeah,
like
sure.
you've talked to everybody. Like I could drop a name and it's just like, you know, like Margot Robbie, done it. Mark Wahlberg, done it, you know? And it's just like, and granted, like you look back at those experiences and it's like, it's not everything, you know? You got Rachel, you got the daughter on the way. That's the most important thing in the world. But like when you get into this, like, how important, just for like the audience to really recognize this and people who want to be in this space, how important building those relationships early on and really providing value on both ends of that spectrum really is, for years on end, not just for like, you know, one thing, one opportunity. Like
it's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Because especially when you're doing those A-list celebrity interviews and you're doing movie junkets, you're getting invited by the movie studio. So if you piss off one of their people, then you're probably never going to get invited to another junket from Paramount, Lionsgate, Disney, Fox, whatever movie studio it happens to be. So much of it is building relationships with the people behind the scenes, which you know very well.
Yep.
And then you get to build relationships with the actual people that are on camera. I was so fortunate early on in my career that I was already doing so many of these interviews because I was working as a TV host and I was working as an entertainment reporter.
Yeah.
So I was already interviewing people that were actors and comedians and directors and musicians. And then obviously pro wrestling kind of got thrown into the mix because I was a wrestling fan. And I was just really lucky. And this is really before YouTube was ever a thing.
yeah.
Certainly before podcasts were mainstream. I was doing these interviews and they were airing on TV. And then there was a part of me like 10, 12 years ago where I was like, man, I'm having these great conversations with some of the most famous people.
Yeah.
And the only people that are going to see this are the people that happen to be watching this TV channel at this exact time. So I was just taking those raw interviews and putting them on my YouTube channel. That's when things really started to gain traction because people outside of your viewing area were able to see them. And if you were a fan of the Twilight movies when I was doing those interviews, you were able to go on YouTube. You had no idea who I was, but you knew who Robert Pattinson was. You knew who Kristen Stewart was. So you were able to consume my interviews. And that's really what got the ball rolling for me.
And it's crazy how ironic that is now, because if you were to take someone else's, like from the local TV station and put that on your YouTube channel now, like that's a fireable offense. They don't want you taking their content. Like you got into that early.
I was doing it before I think anybody even realized the potential of YouTube.
Yeah, they're like, whatever. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you can't do it now.
Oh, I've gotten in trouble for it. Like in college, I would take like my broadcast reel and put it on my YouTube channel, or like take certain interviews, put them on Instagram, and it's like I get flagged for it. I have to like write a paper because I got a strike. I'm just like, when I graduate, I'm going to do it anyway. But like,
I think that
I don't get it.
I can understand like putting it on YouTube, but every TV station should be allowing their talent to put clips on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook Reels because it's just more eyeballs for the content.
As long as you're not diminishing it, I don't see the problem with it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't understand. I've been flagged more times than not, but it's like, but I'm going out of my way to do stuff, you know? I'm ambitious, you know? And they're like, okay, yeah, whatever, Jack. Keep doing it. But I mean, to me, like the whole shift in that podcast wave and YouTube, just seeing like the local entrepreneurs, some of them that, like we mentioned, like a Bradley or even like Ed Milet or most of these guys really taking advantage of content creation these days. Like I wouldn't see like the owner of a tech company really being like a quote unquote celebrity. That never happened.
When Ryan Pineda told me, are you familiar with Ryan?
Another one. Yep.
When he told me he was spending $40,000 a month on social media, I was like, that's someone's salary.
That's an entry salary for a lot of people.
Yeah, like a lot of people would be happy making $40K, but he's spending $40K on like the editing, the shooting, the production, all of that. But he's onto something. Like now he's very recognizable, over 1 million followers on TikTok. His YouTube channel is growing at a substantial rate. There's something there of like, it's all available, right? Like it's all free. If you want to just take your camera out of your pocket, turn it on you and start vlogging, it's all available. It's all free. And even if you're not doing it on the level of like Lewis Howes or Ed Milet or Ryan Pineda, you should be doing it on some sort of level to just be getting your face out there because you are the brand now. That's the biggest shift that's happened over the last 10 years. You are the brand now and your brand has a face.
Yeah. I mean, really, like with social media too, it's like post 2 to 3 clips a day in order to stay relevant. You got to make, an email subscription basis for people to see everything. Like literally before you came in, you talk about Lewis, like text message popped up. I'm like, oh, who texted me? It's like a link from like his latest show,
Yeah.
Because like you subscribe to everything and there they are all the time. Like how many people are you working with, just on a clip basis alone? Because like that is the most difficult and, detailed and just stressful thing in the world if you don't have a team around you helping you out there.
The biggest thing that I learned is I can't do it all myself.
Yeah.
And I would rather lean into my strengths and certainly also my passions too. Like I love booking guests and I love sharing conversations. Do I know how to edit? Sure. Am I good at it? Not really.
Yeah.
If in a pinch I had to put a video out, I could absolutely do it. But I would rather have someone who's a 10 out of 10 at editing that's doing that all the time. That's what they're the best at, rather than my editing skills, which are like a 4 out of 10. I would much rather pay someone to do the thing that they're the best at so I can focus on the thing that I'm the best at. I will say, though, that I started in my TV career where I did it all: shooting, writing, editing, reporting, producing, all of it. And I think that having that ability to wear all those different hats gave me such an appreciation for everything else. And I still do know how to operate a camera. I still do know how to edit audio. I still do know how to edit video, but I'd rather have someone who's so good at it doing that all the time. And that was a big shift for me, is when I finally was like, okay, I'm going to create a budget for this. I'm going to have someone who that's their full-time job. His name's Troy, and he's an absolute rock star. And I just give Troy the interviews and he makes gold out of it. And that's the best thing. So when I made that shift, that changed everything for me.
You'd be such a bitter and not nice person. Everybody says like, oh, everybody loves CVV. It's like you would not be that nice of a person if you had to juggle all of those different things at once. Like I've been there at like 4 a.m. just editing stuff because like didn't have the money to outsource starting out, like you do everything.
Yes.
And I have such an appreciation for it. But once you figure out you can outsource stuff and you get to a certain point where you're able to do that, everybody's doing their part. And that's what makes it way more efficient.
I have a great story from the first AEW event, which was here in Vegas, Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
And they did the press scrums back then where it was like the person stood there and everybody stood around them like locker room scrums. Now they're doing more like press conference stuff. So we did those interviews and we did a ton of interviews that day. We did like Tony Khan, Cody Rhodes, Chris Jericho, Dean Malenko, Dustin Rhodes, did so many different interviews. And then when we left there, I'm like, man, there was some really good stuff here. Like Cody Rhodes talking about breaking the throne, like Tony Khan just like talking about their first event. Like, we got to get this up.
Yeah.
We got to get this up on YouTube like as soon as possible. So my buddy Jamil and I, he was filming the interviews. I was holding the microphone. We literally ran out of the MGM, Grand Garden Arena. We ran to our hotel, which was in the Excalibur. So we literally ran there, and I'm getting these videos off the camera as quickly as I can. And I'm putting them in the editing software and I'm editing them and taking off, putting my intro at the start and editing the tail end of it. I'm like, I got to get this up on YouTube as quickly as possible. I go to hit render and I had this old crappy computer, this old crappy laptop. And I went to hit render and export and it was going to take like 49 minutes. And I'm like, oh my God. And it's like midnight at this point in time. And I'm so exhausted. I'm like, okay, all right, well, this is like interview 1 of like 5 that I'm going to export. I'm going to go to sleep for 45 minutes. I'm going to set my alarm, wake up in 45 minutes. When the render's done, put it up on YouTube. And I did that all night. And I stopped at like 5 a.m. or something. So I would like edit the next video. Okay, all right, man, this is going to take 48 minutes to render. Okay, well, I'll go to sleep for another 45 minutes. And I did that. And I think the biggest lesson there was like, at that time was, if you're going to be first, like get it up as quickly as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And that was, I mean, those videos blew up. That video of Cody Rhodes the AEW press scrum got like 1 million views in the first 24 hours. And it was because we were first. But that the lesson learned there was, number one, I needed a new computer.
Yep.
And like that was the thing I was Googling on my phone while I was exporting those videos, is like, what's a better laptop for editing? And now it's like, it would take like 6 minutes to export that video, or 5 minutes. But the other thing was like, I would rather have someone who's way better and has way better equipment than just me trying to figure this out on my own.
I know. And it's crazy how aware and intuitive you become when doing these things. Because if you really want it, like some people be like, I don't know how he does it. It's like when you really want this and you learn from certain mistakes, you really take note. And like, how can I balance this and get this out before everybody else, but at the same time, get some sleep tonight, and at the same time, do whatever else I need to do. Because like trying to get in the best shape of your life, you need sleep, right?
Yeah.
If you were juggling all of this stuff,
yeah,
it's like, oh, that's why I'm not in shape, because I'm not sleeping well, I'm not eating right, I'm not doing XYZ.
I also had the background of working in television news for so long that I was so used to working on deadlines. Mm-hmm. Now, you would start the day and 6 p.m. was your deadline, or 6:07 if you were in the B block or whatever it happened to be. But it was like you had a deadline. So I very much looked at the content I was creating at that time of like, well, I've got a deadline. Like when I did the interview with Chris Jericho in the backseat of his car, which was right after he signed with AEW, and that video ended up getting well over 1 million views. We were editing that as we were driving. I drove 5 hours to do that interview and 5 hours back. We were editing the interview on the way back. The laptop died. So then we stopped at a service station just to plug in and render the video so that by the time we got back to my house and had internet, we could upload it. And it's just, I think it's that television news mentality of like, let's just get it out there. We've got a deadline. Let's hit it.
Oh, man. How's Jericho?
He's great.
Is he great?
Yeah.
That's the interview for me that will validate this entire show for me. He's like literally the reason I wanted to do a podcast.
Really?
He's probably the first guy, because this was like during the whole like list era. Because I was in high school and it's like him and Kevin Owens. He's like, you just made the list. I'm like, this is awesome.
It was really good.
But I just remember thinking like, oh, he's also the front man for a rock and roll band who goes on tour almost every year. He's also a podcast host. He's also an author. I'm like, he was the first person to really teach me growing up, just watching him, just being like, oh, I can do multiple different things if I want to. I don't have to do one thing, because my main goal was to work for ESPN one day, which I'm able to do now, but like, I'd rather have my time and do all of this other stuff. Like he was the first guy where I'm like, oh, I'm going to do a podcast and we're going to get him on the show.
Wow.
So that's one.
I hope it happens for you.
I hope it does too. The more people you meet, the more people
it's possible.
He's promoting so much. I think he just came out with like an NFT book that he's promoting. It's like, as long as you have an audience, it's like, oh, you find a way.
The great thing about Chris Jericho is, of course, anyone can write a book. Of course, anyone can start a podcast. Of course, anyone can be in a rock band.
Yeah.
But he's doing it at like the top level. Mm-hmm. So it's the idea that not only can you do all of these things, but you can also be good at all of these things. And that's where I'm like, man, he's one of those people that just like, he just dreams big.
The master of reinvention too.
So good.
Like, you want to stay in the entertainment industry, you got to reinvent yourself. Like, he's done it so many times and has done it so well so many times. And there haven't been too many duds.
He's been so intentional about it. He told me that his real inspiration is David Bowie, who reinvented himself for every album. And he said that when he came back after his big hiatus from WWE and he was back as like suit and tie Jericho, he was like, I just want everybody to know I'm not Y2J. And he told the announcers, like, don't refer to me as Y2J. I'm not Y2J anymore. I'm this new character. I'm Chris Jericho doing this new thing. And that's a really intentional and very interesting thing, because how many wrestling conventions have you been to where there's a person sitting there and they're still doing their shtick from the 80s or 90s? And it's like, I get it. That was the thing that got you over. But like, Chris Jericho has proven that like you can get over in multiple different ways.
I mean, he could have stayed in his one gimmick too. Like the fact that he's never gone back, and granted in AEW it's different, but like if he went back to WWE one day, they'd be like, oh, bring back the list. And he's always been like, no, like that was 2016 Jericho. He could easily bring that back and it'd be the number one thing on television every week.
He's one of the greatest of all time. And it's like the fact that he's still doing this now in his 50s, it's so impressive.
Yeah, that's definitely one. Do you have any more, like you've interviewed everybody, so like do you have any more dream interviews that are in reach? Because I know there's probably a few that are like Vince McMahon, I've heard you say.
That's a big one.
That's one that might be out of reach, but like never say never, he's back, so.
That's out of reach, I think.
Do you think? Not with that attitude.
That's right. Yeah, I like that. I thought he was never going to do another interview, and then he did the thing with Pat McAfee, which was such
Perfect timing.
It was such great insight into his life too.
Like, oh, this guy's actually a decent human being.
Yeah, and I think what's so interesting about Vince is he's kind of the Wizard of Oz. Like, we kind of just see him as this big figurehead. There's obviously a man behind all that.
Yeah.
And I'd be so interested. I want to just dig below the surface a little bit with Vince.
Oh my God.
Like, what's Vince McMahon's workout routine look like? I'd love to hear that. Like, what's his favorite movie? Does Vince McMahon like pizza? What's Vince McMahon's favorite pizza topping? Like, this stuff's really interesting to me because everything else that he wants out there is already out there.
Yeah.
So obviously Vince, I would love to interview Christopher Nolan.
Oh, that's a good one.
I am blown
Genius.
away, right? Like, every film that he has is a masterpiece. And I'm also fascinated by his obsession with time.
Oh yeah, every single movie.
Every single movie, he plays with time in a completely different way. Like, starting from like Memento to what he did with Inception, Interstellar, even Dunkirk, the way that, like, I'm fascinated by all of that. So I would love a conversation with him. I don't know if maybe that might happen with Oppenheimer. He has a new movie coming out. Yeah, let's put that out into the world.
That one's
Christopher
way more
Nolan.
That one's way more in
Yeah.
reach. Do directors typically? I know Tarantino definitely is a part of all the press stuff.
Yeah. If you're
usually.
big enough, like I did Ron Howard recently.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. So like, yeah, if you're a well-known director, you're for sure doing the press junket. And also, like, I have such a massive respect for Tom Brady and the fact that he's 45, still playing at the level that he's playing at and completely changing the game, breaking his own records. Like, I would love to be able to sit down with him and just be like, dude, what makes you tick?
Yeah, that's a good one too. I don't know how long he's going to continue playing too. Because like he came back this year and it kind of upended his personal life from what we've seen. You know, like you think you want to win. Like when you go out, you want to win one more time.
He's not slowing down.
Yeah.
Like, I saw this really interesting YouTube video where it was showing other people that had come out of retirement and like how, it wasn't great.
Yeah.
He came out of retirement and sure they didn't have a winning season, but he had a pretty great season. And it's not like he's slowing down. So,
and they're in too. Like,
yeah,
he could easily run the table and win another one and then hang it up.
He could. Yeah.
We've seen it happen before.
So I guess we'll see what happens, but I wouldn't bet against Tom Brady.
So those are your main three then, Vince, Tom,
and changes all the time. Like, there's a whole bunch of other, I'd love to have a real conversation with Oprah. I've interviewed her briefly on a red carpet, but I'd love to actually like dig in deep with her. Joe Rogan's fascinated me for the same reason that Chris Jericho is fascinating. Like, he's found all the things that he's passionate about, and then he's just really good at them. Mm-hmm. He loves cage fighting, loves mixed martial arts. He's a commentator for the UFC. Incredible.
Yeah.
He loves comedy. Now he's been a comedian for 30 plus years. He loves telling stories and hearing stories and having conversations. Top podcast in the world. Like, that's really interesting to me.
Oh my God. Do you have any plans to do any like, because Rogan is someone who's reinvented himself going from Fear Factor, just doing his, like what we're doing now.
Yeah.
You know? Like, have you ever dreamt about doing a specific show with like a specific niche where you're doing something? Like, I know they just came out with Barmageddon on USA Network, you know, like something like that, where like you bring in celebrity guests and you're playing games or you're doing something, or like even like what Sean Evans does with Hot Ones, you know, like, have you ever wanted to do something like that?
100%. But it's just so difficult because the way that TV is now, it's shifted so much. Like, most TV hosts now are former athletes or they're actors or there's somebody who has some sort of name recognition. Mm-hmm. And it's just difficult now unless you create the show. And I would certainly love to create a show like that. But if I could like look at TV right now and go, I want that job, I would have loved to host Amazing Race. Like, I think that show is fascinating, and it's been on for 100 years now.
Yeah, forever.
Yeah. If you could get in, if you were one of those like old school hosts that got in on The Bachelor, Survivor, Amazing Race, like you're set. You're set. That doesn't really exist anymore. So I think now it's more of like, it's the Mr. Beast model. Mm-hmm. It's the Mr. Beast model of like, all right, I think this is a really interesting show. I'm going to create it myself and I'm going to put it out there. It's kind of what Hot Ones did.
Mm-hmm. And you just become that guy forever.
That's it.
You were that, like, and I could see you doing like The Bachelor, like Jeopardy, any one of those shows, you know?
I would love to. I still have a real big place in my heart for hosting. Like that was broadcasting is my first love, and it will always be my first love. It's changed and shifted a lot, the broadcasting model. It's certainly now more like niche casting. It used to be like broad, we're going to throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. Now it's very niche. Like if you want to just spend the afternoon watching Foo Fighters play Learn to Fly, you could literally just go down a rabbit hole of watching every one of their performances on YouTube. That didn't exist 10, 15 years ago.
I do that once a week. I love the Foo Fighters.
So I think that it's changed and shifted a lot, but I would definitely love to still have a show that you could just tune in on Discovery or Netflix or wherever it happens to be.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the type of thing that really like, it's just fun, right?
Yes.
Like doing something like that.
Yeah.
And being able to do it in this generation where it's like, oh, there's not really too many producers involved, or like there's people in your ear.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, it's yours.
Yeah.
And you're able to put it together with like it's your own thing.
I think I'd have to create a whole new YouTube channel though. Like
Oh, yeah.
YouTube has niched down so much more on their niches, which is great. But like my YouTube channel is primarily a lot of long form interviews, and certainly primarily a lot of long form interviews with wrestlers. So if I were to put this fun Barmageddon type of show on there, I don't know if it would really hit. So I think it would just have to be like, all right, we create this whole other thing over here.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
Oh my God. In the next year or two, or like 5 years down the road, when you're hosting something like that, and we're like, I inserted that into his brain.
I'm hosting a show right now on the Wealth Channel. It's called My Dream Purchase. Because again, hosting's been a huge passion of mine forever. So the show's pretty fun. Like you finally come into the money to buy the thing you've always wanted to buy, whether it's a boat, a house, a dream car, motorcycle, whatever it happens to be. And I show you option 1, 2, and 3, and you pick one of them. And we test drive them. We do the whole thing. So that's been a lot of fun to do. We just wrapped season 1.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Any cool guests there?
No, they're not like famous guests.
Just like,
But like there was an episode we were like looking at like mansions in Hollywood, and there was one where we were looking at yachts. There's one where it was classic Porsches. So just like really cool items. So you're coming because, you know, how do people spend millions of dollars? Well, this is how they're spending it.
wow. You got a lot going on, man.
It's been fun. I want more though.
Why? So you want more, you're doing a ton, you're established, your reputation's out there. You're like one of the nicest guys ever. Like, how do you juggle all of it? You know, like even like taking the time to talk to me today. Didn't have to do it, you know?
Oh, thank you for making the time to do this.
I always try to, man. That's the name of the game when it comes to interviewing and doing what we do. Like you got to figure out what works for everybody, right?
The biggest thing is it's MMA. Make myself available.
Yep.
If someone's willing to say yes and you have to fly to Albuquerque to make it happen, or you've got to call in sick to work, if it means that much to you and the opportunity is there, do it. Yeah. If you're willing to do things that other people aren't willing to do, you're going to get things that other people aren't going to get.
Exactly. So like, what was the reasoning for saying yes to me today? Like if it was like my first podcast ever, like, are you one of those guys that would say yes to anybody? Like, here's the opportunity, or does it have to like?
I think if I had the time, like, I think, look, we also both work for Blue Wire, which is cool.
Yeah.
Like Kevin Jones doesn't hire people that aren't great people.
Yeah.
So yeah, but look, you're very established. You're a great interviewer. The fact that you're sitting here with no notes in front of you is always so impressive.
I've never liked that. I mean, you probably started out that way too, where it's like you have your bullet points and it's just, okay, next question. You're not thinking about having a conversation. You're having an interview, and it doesn't flow.
And I still approach different types of interviews in different ways. Like if I have a 5-minute junket with somebody, I will write out the questions that I want to ask, not just the topics, but actual questions, because it's such a short window of time and I want to maximize it as much as I can. Mm-hmm. When I'm going to talk to somebody for 45 minutes, an hour plus for a podcast, I'll write out bullet points of like, okay, we'll talk about this and this and this, not in any sort of specific order, but like, these are some main things we should talk about.
Yeah. I always think like 3 to 5 bullet points.
Yeah.
You know? And like worst case scenario, they're just like not invested at all. It's like, okay, I have my bullet points.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just like, and we've both had those guests before. We talked about it, you know, like it's very, like who would you say is the most surprising guest you've had on when it comes to like, okay, I'm going into this interview blind, but they turned out to be the most amazing person ever. And then someone obviously wasn't quite up to your...
Well, I already told you that story.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later, but someone that just surprised you.
I think that happens often. And I'm often surprised also by the response that I get in the comments. Like, oh my gosh, you talked to so-and-so? I've been a fan of theirs forever. So I don't know. I don't ever go into an interview like over or underestimating somebody. I just go in like hoping to have a great conversation with somebody and then walking away going, man, that was awesome. I will say I love when people bring it. I love when people bring the energy and bring the excitement, and bring the passion, because it oozes through the microphone. It oozes through the camera and the audience can feel it.
The vibe is just so much better.
Yes.
It's just like, okay, here we go. Like we're both positive. It's just, when you just show up and you're just like, all right, so what do you do?
Yeah.
No, I think who does that great is Dave Grohl. Dave Grohl is someone like I know people who have interviewed him in the past. He's like, he knew just about as much about me as I knew about him. Like
That's
he actually
amazing.
Takes the time to like make the most of every opportunity.
I'll tell you one that really blew me away was Tyler Perry. And he's been so kind to me throughout my career. But I had interviewed him for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. We were in New York. I did the junket interview with him. I thought it was fine. The next day we were on the red carpet and he's walking by and he's doing an interview to the left of me with my friend Kevin McCarthy. And he goes, all right, Kevin, I got to wrap up here. I got to get to Mr. Van Vliet here. And I'm like, hold on, what?
Wow.
And he goes, yeah. So good to see you again. I said, yeah, good to see you too. How do you know my name? How do you know how to say my name? He's like, yeah, don't worry about it. So we do the interview. He goes, by the way, what kind of socks you got on today? Because I love wearing fun socks.
Was this the first time you met him?
It was, I'd done an interview with him the day before. And then then the next day we did the red carpet.
Yeah.
So clearly he had like done some research on me after the interview the day before, but he knew everything. Like he knew what city I lived in, where I worked, the sock thing, everything. And I was just blown away. And I followed him off the red carpet after he was done all the interviews. And I said, Tyler, like you blew my mind. He's like, why? I said, come on, like you blew my mind. You knew all these things about me. He's like, I'm sure we'll be in touch. Like, but it's just the fact that he showed a genuine interest. And then every time I've interviewed him ever since then, he's been so nice. And we've developed a friendship from that. And just really grateful, because when someone like that sees something in you, it then makes you see something in yourself that maybe you hadn't seen before.
It makes you feel so much better, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And especially because like I thought our interview was good. I didn't like think it was excellent or incredible by any means, but the fact that sparked something really meant a lot to me.
And that's probably why you're like who you are now.
I don't know.
You're very energetic.
I do love energy. I think I'm addicted to, drinking pre-workout or something.
Yeah, dude. Well, let's save some of that energy. You got some interviews today at Blue Wire. Who are you having Travis in?
I'm actually going to Travis right now.
Oh,
he's going to interview me.
Oh, sweet.
I've got my good friend Brant Pinvidic coming in. You know Brant? Mm-hmm. So Brant's coming in. I've known him for years, but never had like a formal interview with him. Spent like Thanksgiving with him, but never like done an interview. So he's coming in. And then Murray the Magician.
Really?
Have you had him?
I have not.
Oh,
I've checked out his stuff, though.
You should line him up because he's here. And he has a big following on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
So he's coming by, and it's always so fun to do podcasts with magicians because then they end up showing you some stuff and you get some cool social clips out of that. So there you go.
You learn a thing or two.
I mean,
go to a party, people think you're interesting.
I'm not learning anything. I'm just going, hey, watch this. Yeah.
Hey, it's working out for you though, man. And
it's
again,
been fun.
I appreciate you taking the time. I can't wait till we get to do this again in the Blue Wire studio sometime.
Me too, man. Let's do it.
Definitely let me know the next time you're in town. But this was episode 600, guys, with the one and only CVV, Chris Van Vliet. Check him out. Check out his YouTube channel. You got CVV clips, and then you got the main Insight channel as well. But I appreciate you coming on, man.
Thank you, man.